right. So today I want to discuss with you about the Oxford tutorial method and disclosure in my practice. So I wrote a infograph. So I just want to kind of go over it with you, and I just want you to give me some feedback and tell me where I need to grow and stuff at. Okay, so first, it says, I used to believe that disclosure was about telling students what's expected from them. But now, since I done learned in this classroom, I learned it's about showing the students how these expectations support with their growth in their learning. Because we do go in and we just tell them, hey, I expect you to do X, Y, Z, and not explaining to them, hey, if you do this, this is going to help you. And instead of just saying, I do it, and don't say, hey, this is going to make you grow. So I learned that, because it's like, we got all these lists, like you come in, sit down, be quiet, raise your hand, and stay in your seat, but it's not all about that. It's all about having disclosure where we're both, I'm learning, you learning, and feedback, letting them have their say without, having them in trouble. Okay. So on my next session, I talked about classroom disclosure is valuable because it's about having trust with the students. Because if your students don't feel like they can trust you, they really don't want to open up to you. So you just have to have that trust, and then you got to trust them as well instead of saying, they probably ain't gonna do this or they not gonna do that. So you have to build that trust with them. You trust me and I trust you. My second one is about it's okay to be human. Being vulnerable in the classroom can promote deeper thinking and strengthen the relationship, which kind of just go back to with the trust. It kind of go hand in hand, because if you being vulnerable, like if I'm telling you, if it's a student struggling and like they don't understand, you could just kind of tell them, hey, listen, I know where you're at, because I didn't understand none of this before I start sitting down reading and learning from this. So if you just kind of let them know, hey, I went through the familiar things, then that can give a deeper relationship with the students. And accountability, which is number 3. Make sure that students know what is expected from them and show them by being prepared and consistent yourself. So instead of you telling them, hey, I expect this from you, like you can't be in a classroom being disarrayed and trying to tell them what to do. Because if they see that you're not prepared and you don't have it together, then what makes them want to be? Because like you're all over the place. So you're confused and now you got them confused. So just be prepared and consistent. Number 2, which is classroom disclosure strategy. It asking us the Oxford tutorial method, which is a group discussion where students think and analyze, where you can give feedback, where you can give and receive feedback. So I do kind of like this because I can go in thinking one way with the tutorial with colleagues, but listening to them or their input and their feedback, I might have been thinking something one way, but if they come with this different answer, it kind of makes me see things. Well, it do make me see things in a different way and stuff, with having positive feedback in the tutorial stuff, and we discuss and share our ideas and then come up with something. Okay. The next one is I also picked dialogic teaching, which helps students learn by getting them to talk, share ideas, and ask questions. It helps them understand better by hearing different opinions. This strategy keeps them interested and engaged. So, of course, I know the dialogue teaching is where you just kind of come in, give students lessons, and just kind of sit back and let them do their thing. And then you just kind of go in and, see where they're at. Not like you hovering over them. You're not hovering them, So you just kind of let them just be independent thinkers, independent people learning, and you just kind of just watch them and ask questions when they need it, and just give your feedback on that. And number 3, it was asking, what was a strategy that I learned was the Bloom taxonomy, which supports learning by starting easy steps to remember facts to problem solving. It helps teachers to plan lessons to match how students grow in their thinking, so no one get left behind. Because we know that everybody learns differently. Just because you have two students don't mean they learn the same. So it's just better to start from easy to hard, so you can know what lessons you need to start off with, and gradually, as they're learning, you gradually go up the tax bracket.
Yeah.
So you know, because you don't want nobody to get left behind, because you can't teach 2 students the same thing and one may get it and one not. So this just helps you know to where to start with each individual student.
Yeah.
And so which that's the thing that I learned, that you cannot do that because everybody learns different. The reading that shaped my learning, the oracy in the classroom was one of them, which was the oracy in the classroom prepares students to elevate talking, thinking, practicing speaking, and listening, which, like, we had one little video about when they was doing fist to 5, if they understood, and so that helps you understand where they're at, and then that gives them time they can speak, because sometimes a lot of students won't say nothing because they're nervous to say something. So this oracy in the classroom helps students speak up, and it elevates them to want to talk more.
Yeah.
So I did like that. And of course, I put the Bloom taxonomy again because, like I said, questioning the classroom should be used to teach students, not to test them. So the same thing about the level level of the taxonomy. And it says, what is a tutorial? Like I said, I like that too, because we get together, which is teaching based around a conversation that helps us. That helps us in the group, all of us in the group. So I like that one too. Number 4, learning experience that shaped my understanding, which the fishbowl, which I was talking about, what we did with PD. I mean, I wasn't in it, but I liked it when I was watching it. So, and then the experience number 2 was, I did like I can't say the word, the meetings that we have before.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that we would meet up in a group before class on Wednesday, and it's a group of 4, and of course I was the timekeeper, so we would get together 30 minutes before the original class, and we talked about an article or a lesson that the teacher handed out to us, and we would talk and share our thoughts and give each other feedback. And I liked it because it helped me understand the lesson and the article from a different perspective, and I like us getting together doing that, because there was a couple ladies on there that really had some, they helped me a lot with some of the stuff they were saying. Yeah. So, and then number 5, we just had to do words I didn't know, which I put in here because I didn't know what these words, what they meant. So I'm not even gonna try to say that one word. And then the caveat, which is a warning, and the first one, in a way to relate to the parts of physiology. I can't say that, but and then crooks, puzzling or difficult problem solve. So yeah, them was words I didn't know. Okay, and then number 6, it was asking what was a burning question. So I just want to know, how can classroom disclosure and OTM be balanced when disclosures want you to be vulnerable and Oxford training wants you to just be like kind of outspoken and talking and stuff. So I don't know how that would balance out.
Yeah.
So, and at the end it says, I want to use disclosure in my classroom so that students can be seen, heard, and valued. And one thing wish to develop in my own disclosure practice is communication.
Okay.
And that's what I have. So,
do you mind if I look at the graphic?
The one I just gave you?
Yeah, what you just walked through?
Yes. And just
maybe. So one thing I noticed that I really liked when you were talking about, maybe it's up here at the top. Why classroom discourse is vital is because you said that you combine the first 2 points, trust and it being okay to be human.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what really stood out to me is that you grasp that if our students don't trust us, there's going to be a certain point where they're not going to listen, they're not going to accept a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about accountability, so I really like that you put these 3 in, all of them together, because that third one says you want to make sure your students know what's expected. Mm-hmm. And show them also with how you carry yourself as a teacher, but we cannot raise the bar on students if we don't have that as consistent accountability, but also have that relationship with them, because otherwise, especially at the high school level, they're old enough now to really see, make a decision on who they think you are as not just a teacher but a person.
Yeah.
And if they don't feel like you not just trust them to an extent but also believe that they can do it, they're going to quickly shut down. So I really like that you did that.
And then you can give me where I need to grow at.
Yes. So one thing I would say, and it's not that I see you lacking, but I would say that all these things that it talks about, like showing you why classroom discourse is important, given those examples of the tutorial method, it's a two-way street because it's helping us as in students, you as a student, as you learn, but then also being able to flip that and say, I'm also going to use this in the classroom.
Okay.
Because as your professor, let's say that she runs a class with a tutorial method style. I've had classes given in that style, and so it's helped to make sure that I and the rest of my cohorts had a good understanding of what we were talking about, but also gives a perfect example of how to use it in the classroom. So it's a growth only because I think it's continual. You're constantly trying to take what's shown to you by the way you're taught and say, let me flip that and use that when I'm teaching.
Okay. All right. So our time is winding up. So I really thank you for taking your time and discussing this with me and really helping me to understand this. And so you're the best colleague.
Oh, so. You're too nice. I like it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.